There are three main types of entrepreneurial styles. I've listed them from the easiest to the most difficult to execute. 1. Finding a target audience with a solution that fits them. 2. Having a solution and finding an audience to which it fits. And 3. Creating an audience for a solution that didn't exist before. Traditional business schools don't usually synthesize the approaches in this manner, but that's what they are. You can build a livable income off of any of them, then theoretically scale them to multi-millions, billions, or in some unicorn cases, trillions like Apple or Amazon. For number 1, the world is your oyster. Pick any audience you imagine and just study them. Get to know them, either in person or from a distance, either from primary or secondary research. Primary research is what you do yourself. Secondary research is what you get from a third party. The easiest way to do this is to pick people that are already close to your own psychological profile. By this, I mean your culture. Many entrepreneurs have made millions developing simple solutions that fit their own lives. Then they just sell that solution to similar people who have the same kinds of problems. These are typically people that have something in cultural common with the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur knows that target audience both inside and out from both primary and secondary research. It's arguable that primary research could also count as, say, your experience with classmates from public school. Classmates going to the same school often share many of the same problems. This means that one could potentially sell a scaled solution equally to all of them and make a lot of profit. However, this method gets a lot harder when you don't have as much personal experience with the target audience. Let's say you're a native Chinese person who wants to target upper class Irish Americans. You, as a native Chinese person, would likely have zero experience with collective Irish American culture and history. So you wouldn't necessarily know how best to communicate with that audience in order to sell them your solution. In that event, they'd hire someone like me to bridge that gap. The bridge would come in the form of my marketing strategy for them. Meanwhile, the second type of entrepreneurship is the exact reverse of the first. In the second one, you don't start off with an audience that you selected. You only start off with a value variable, some sort of solution that you'd like to sell to someone, but you're not sure who would be the most receptive to it. This is a bit more difficult of an approach because in this context, trial and error is the way to find your audience. You start off with a hypothesis and then test a sample marketing campaign. Then you measure the results. You rinse and repeat this process, the scientific method, until you hit your mark. However, this can burn a lot of resources before you ever hit your mark, if at all. And finally, you have the third type of entrepreneurship. This form typically consists of genuine inventions or really innovative products that no one's ever heard of before. Or you may need to raise awareness of a problem that people didn't even realize they had, then provide the solution to a problem that they didn't know existed. This is what Bill Gates and Steve Jobs did with the computer. During the start of their collective rise, few people knew about the computer. Few people cared. A computer was just an item for esoteric fringe nerds. People considered Jobs a visionary because he saw a new future. In it, computers were everywhere. But to get from point A to point B, he had to do two key things. 1, change the product to fit the non-nerds so that the mainstream could be more receptive to it. And 2, execute branding efforts that raised awareness of the vision, using various forms of advertising, convincing people to help make the vision reality. Remember, you can become successful with any of the three. One of the main keys to your success will be in finding which one of the three fits best for you. Then stick to that method as you grow.